I needed to clear my head, to think, so I decided to go camping for a bit in the snow. Try out the hammock. You gotta be careful out here though. There's a lot of ravines and the snow can hide things like underground water sources and streams, slippery rocks. It is beautiful though. The first thing I needed to find was a vaguely flat area to suspend the hammock. Trying to find a flat area with suitable amount of trees is not as easy as it seems. I could go much deeper into the forest, but the trees become much thicker and much more spaced, which means it's harder to assemble the hammock. Normally I only use hammocks in hot weather, and I really wanted to see how it would do in sub-zero conditions. I've had a few different hammocks, and to be honest, I am quite impressed with the DD one. This is what I mean about things buried under the snow. This is a fairly fresh kill, either deer or wild boar. It's not a suitable place to put up a hammock. As much as I love furry critters, being alone at night in the middle of winter in the Carpathian Mountains with bears, wolves and lynxes wandering round, eh. So I decide to move camp, although I don't think it really matters that much. If they're there, they're here as well. Straps are an excellent idea for hammocks, much better than paracord or string, especially when it's sub-zero conditions, because you end up spending half your time trying to unpick knots with frozen fingers, and you don't have that problem with straps. It's so easy to slip and hurt yourself and be stranded. The DD hammock comes with its own sleeve, sort of like a sausage, which means it's very easy to unpack and pack. With tents, you basically find a flat area, you put them up, peg them down, and you're done. With hammocks, you have to choose a suitable location and then constantly play around to find the best way of assembling it all. But when it comes to freezing conditions, it's good to be several feet off the ground. Modern hammocks include a slit on the bottom for you to put your insulating layer. What many people don't realise is a hammock, even though you're off the ground, the cold still comes through your back. So you do have to use a blanket or a roll mat to protect yourself from cold air, as if you were sleeping on the ground. I take this poncho virtually everywhere with me. In this case, it's going to be used as a ground sheet. It's strange in freezing conditions. You have to constantly remove and then put back on layers because you have to make sure that you don't get too sweaty or too wet. Once you get wet, it is extremely difficult to dry out and your body temperature drops. So even if it's -10, -20 outside, you may end up walking around in a t-shirt for a while just to stop yourself from sweating. And any form of active work outside will incur sweating. I do love hammocks though, I really do. I brought with me multiple extra layers in case it got really cold. A Gore-Tex bivvy bag is an excellent form of insulation. The orange plastic emergency bags are useful in extreme emergencies, but when you sweat, the moisture gets trapped inside the bag and will eventually freeze. Gore-Tex allows you to breathe through the fabric. I should really play a drinking game with my videos about how many times I mention the Mylar emergency blanket. They are useful, but they do rip. To start a campfire, always look for silver birch. This is a really old and rotten one. Birch bark will light even if it's damp. Lighting a fire on snow is very different to lighting a fire during the summer. You have to keep the fire off the ground, similar to when it's raining. So first you build a platform. Always find dead wood that is hanging in trees. Don't take stuff that's on the ground. There's always branches and twigs which have fallen and got caught up on other branches. And generally these will be much drier than anything that's on the floor. It is still a long process though. Generally, if I'm lighting a fire in the day, I always make a small one, and I prepare logs for the night so I can build it up for heat and to protect against animals. But when you're building a fire in snowy conditions, start small and just go slow. Same as in rain. Don't build a huge wooden monstrosity and expect it to catch a light. Quite often you have to take it to pieces again and again just to get it lit. This is my wife's mushroom picking Mora. It's not a knife I would usually use, but because it's bright blue and it's plastic, it's useful in the snow. Never take anything with a metal handle. Also, anything which is dark coloured is very easy to lose, especially at night in the snow, when all you can see is white and black around you. I have multiple pots, zebras, tatonkas, but I still always carry my old aluminium kettle. I don't know why. I have tripods and hooks and chains for cooking, and I still prefer to just take a stick, cut it, and use it as a hanging branch for the pot. It massively reduces the stuff I need to carry. Like I said, it's a long, slow process getting a fire going in the snow, but it's essential. Ordinarily, I have English tea with milk and sugar, but I didn't bring any milk with me. This is what it's all about. Just having space to think, to chill, surrounded by nature and the elements. I'm an illegal alien, I'm an Englishman in the bush. Now just wait for dark, far away from the madding crowds. Be free.